Hello to everybody. So today we're going to talk about one of the most mysterious, one of the most interesting topic of Ukrainian history. This is Trypillian culture, Trypillian inhabitants. These people lived in the territory of Ukraine about from 6 till 3,000 years ago, years BC. And at the end of 19th century, it was discovered by Викентій Фойко, this Ukrainian archaeologist, one of the first Ukrainian archaeology. Actually, Ukrainian archaeology started about end of 19th century when people were interested in different ancient objects. Hello to everybody. By the way, if you are from the Middle East, it's interesting to ask you what kind of historical art, yes, you have in your region, because the Middle East is really very interesting. And after I will tell you how it's connected with Ukrainian. Викентій Фойко, he found some settlement. One of the first settlement was near Kyiv. It's called Trypillia. It was town Trypillia, and this culture got named Trypillian just from the town, from the modern town. We don't know how they called themselves because, of course, in that time they have no literature. Archaeologists, their settlements look like this. This is reconstruction of their house. As you see, they had probably even two-level houses, clay houses made of the red clay and decorated, very well decorated. This is very artistic, very cultural inhabitants of Ukraine. By the way, this house was reconstructed in my region, Cherkasy region. We have also settlement nearby. This settlement is the biggest between all ancient settlements. It's 450 hectares. You can imagine so big town of that time. Of course, it wasn't like modern town, yes, but it was really big. Such kind of houses were around all the towns, and it was really interesting. Such kind of the cultural, these people, they started some kind of the legend in Ukrainian history between Ukrainians. Now Ukrainians believe that many Ukrainians believe that Trypillians were our ancestors, that we came from the Trypillians. And if you go to Ukraine, you can find some nationalists, some people, even in the bar, if you drink something, and they can tell you that the Ukrainians came from the ancient civilization, that we are one of the most ancient civilizations in the world, that Trypillians moved after Ukraine, they moved to America and make settlement there. Of course, this is just some bullshit, but unfortunately, fake archaeologists share such kind of the knowledge about our history. Just this day, I checked some books. It's really like fantastic book about Ukrainian. Ukrainians came after Ukraine. They came to the Greeks. They make their Greek civilization, but nevertheless, it's not true. The truth was that Trypillians lived here in the Neolithic time after the Mesolith. I told you about the Mesolith. In that time, in about 6,000 BC, in the north of Ukraine lived local hunter-gathering tribes. They were almost local, yeah, because they lived here in the time of Mesolith, and they belonged to European race. They were strong, they were big, tall, and they more look like Ukrainian. In the pictures which I showed to you, you can see Trypillians. They totally different from Ukrainians. They had thin bones, and they had the big noses. They were thin. They were not tall, small, yes. And archaeologists connect them with Armenian people from Armenia. And we believe that these people came to us from the Middle East, from Mesopotamia, because exactly in Mesopotamia there appeared the first agricultural civilization. One of the first Neolithic agricultural people in the world lived in the Middle East in 7th century BC. It's culture called Kobuk Guyuk, yeah. They live in the area of the modern Iraq, yeah. And in that time they have very good condition for agricultural. The big river Tigr and Euphrates, they gave them much water, and there were good ground for this. And in such way population started to grow. They settle in one place, they can stay in one place. They started to grow seeds and started to domesticate animals. They made clay dishes. In such way they have a chance to save their their property in these huge dishes. You can see it's this kind of dishes in my pictures list. There were also other culture like Tel Asfat near Damascus. This is Syria, not far from Damascus. There is archaeological center, archaeological site, and also this site has some Neolithic dwellings. In 5th century BC, in the Middle East was popular so-called halaf culture. They had so many dishes with many different decoration, and their dishes look like Trypillians. You can check their pictures, halaf civilization. And this culture and Trypillians, they had big dishes, and they were decorated with different ornaments. Especially very popular was decoration in the shape of snake, because probably snake was like their goddess of fertility, and snake is popular in the Middle East in the descent. So the population, as they have very good condition for development, the population of the Middle East about 6th century BC became growing, and they needed other places for living. So they moved to the area of modern Turkey, to the north of the Middle East, yes, and they crossed Bosphorus and Dardanelles. They found themselves in the ancient Greeks, and probably Mycenaean civilization came also from these people. In Mycenaean island, there are also the big dishes like this. And after they appeared in Romania and Moldova, and about 6000 BC they started to live in Ukraine. As you see on the pictures, they have big settlements with this big houses. We have many such kind of their settlement, And because Trypillians live in one place just about 50 years, 60 years. We don't know why, but at the end they burned their settlement, they were ruined, and they moved to other place. Probably in such way they changed their location because they were looking for grass for their animal. Probably this land field became not very good for agricultural. Anyway, Ukraine have very good soil, very good black soil from the ancient time, and it was really good place for them for living. This civilization disappeared about 3,000 years BC, and we don't know why they came from this place where they they were like aliens, you know. Probably, as archaeologists think, probably the climate changed a lot and it became more drier. That is why they cannot make their agricultural job anymore. After this became the period of Bronze, another kind of the period, yes, and in that period very popular was cattle tribes, nomad tribes who just moved around. They didn't have settlement, so it was completely different. It was like step back. It was completely different civilization. That is why Trypillian civilization is unique in Ukraine. That is why many people are proud of this. Many people think that many Ukrainian decoration came from Trypillians. We came from Trypillians, but it's so yeah. And if you visit Ukraine, you can go to one of the Trypillian festival every year in the summer. During the summer in Trypillia, village Trypillia near Kiev, there is a festival where people dance, sing a song, they jump off the fire. So it's really interesting events to visit. Hope in sometimes you can travel and come here to see Ukraine and some such kind of ancient site. Oh yeah, Rita, this is my bird. Thank you for watching me, yes, and thank you for interested in ancient Ukrainian history. So, bye-bye.